Have you ever noticed how quickly your mind moves past your success? You finish the project, you accomplish your goal you've been working toward for months, and you finally got the result you've been hoping for. And for a brief moment, you feel proud. And then, your mind immediately starts replaying everything you could have done better. You should have prepared more. You should have said something differently. You missed this. You could have done better. Sound familiar? For a long time, I thought that voice was the reason I achieved so much. I call that having high standard and call that discipline. I thought being hard on myself was simply part of being successful, but eventually I started asking myself a different question. If that voice was helping me so much, why did every accomplishment feel so short-lived? Why was it so much easier to notice what I got wrong than to appreciate what I got right? That's when my perspective began to change. Being hard on yourself and having high standards are not the same thing. Welcome to Life with Eve. I'm Eve Kyle, a women's empowerment speaker and relationship coach for women. I help women reclaim themselves from the inside out and love forward into healthy relationships without repeating their past. And today, we're unpacking the third pillar of self-love. It's called self-compassion. So here is a common misconception. We hear the word compassion and we assume it means being easy on ourselves, lowering our standards, making excuses, letting ourselves off the hook. I used to believe those things too. But looking back, there were 4 beliefs I had to unlearn before I truly understood what self-compassion is. So maybe you can recognize some of them. The first belief I had to unlearn was this: being hard on myself is how I got where I am today. So this one is probably the hardest one to let go of, especially if you're someone who is driven, responsible, reliable. You accomplished a lot in your life. It's easy to believe your inner critique deserves the credit. I used to think if I stopped criticizing myself, I would stop improving. But then I started paying attention. Every time I reached a goal, my brain skipped right over the celebration. Instead of looking for flaws, what could I have done better? What did I miss? What should I improve next? It was never enough. So at first I thought that meant I had high standards. And now I think something else was happening. I had confused self-criticism with self-discipline. Those are not the same thing. Discipline helps you stay committed. And self-criticism convinces you that whatever you do will never be enough. So one moves you forward, the other steals the joy while you're moving. And that's a very expensive price to pay. The second belief I had to unlearn was this: self-compassion will lower my standards. I worried that if I became more understanding with myself, I would lose my edge. And I would be complacent. I would stop pushing myself. And maybe you thought that too. But let me ask you something. Have you ever beaten yourself up after making a mistake? Not just for 5 minutes, for hours, even for days, for months. Did that actually make you better? Or did it just make you feel worse? So there's a difference between reflecting and ruminating. Reflection asks, what can I learn? And the rumination keeps replaying the same mistake without moving anywhere. One helps you improve, and the other drains your confidence. The people that I admire the most aren't the ones who are hardest on themselves. They're the ones who are willing to learn, make adjustments, and keep going. Self-compassion doesn't lower your standards. It helps you stop wasting your energy on shame so you can invest that energy in becoming better. The third belief I had to unlearn was this: if I let myself off the hook, I will never learn my lesson. I think this is the one a lot of us believe without realizing it. We think guilt keeps us accountable. And we think if we stop beating ourselves up, we'll just repeat the same mistake. But think about someone you love. Imagine your child makes a mistake or your best friend. Would you want them to learn from it? Of course. Would you want them to spend days or months telling themselves they're a failure? Absolutely not. So why do we accept something different from ourselves? One of the most important lessons I've learned is this: learning the lesson and punishing yourself are not the same thing. You can admit you're wrong, you can apologize, you can take responsibility, and you can make things right. But none of that requires attacking yourself. In fact, I found that when I'm not busy defending myself from my own inner critique, I have a lot more energy to actually solve the problem. And the fourth belief I had to unlearn was this: self-compassion will make me weak. So somewhere along the way, many of us learn that strength looks like pushing through. Never slow down, never asking for help, and never giving yourself a break. We admire resilience, and we should. But I think we have misunderstood what resilience actually means. Resilience isn't pretending you're unaffected, isn't criticizing yourself until you get it right. Real resilience is being able to fall down, to learn, get back up, and keep moving without turning against yourself. That's strength. Because life is already going to challenge you. You don't need to become one more thing you're fighting. So how do we actually practice self-compassion? I don't think it starts with standing in front of a mirror and repeating affirmations. For me, it starts with one question. The next time you catch yourself spiraling after a mistake, and ask yourself, is what I'm saying to me right now actually helping me move forward? Notice I didn't ask, is it true? Because sometimes it is true. Maybe you forgot something. Maybe you made a poor decision. And maybe you hurt someone's feelings. So the question isn't whether you made a mistake. The question is whether the conversation you're having with yourself is helping you become the person you want to be. If it's helping you take responsibility, great, keep listening. If it's only making you feel smaller, it's no longer helping. So at that point, stop arguing with yourself. Take the next right step. Make the phone call, send an apology, have a difficult conversation, learn what you need to learn, then keep moving. That is self-compassion. It's not avoiding responsibility. It's not pretending everything's okay. It's choosing to stop becoming another obstacle, standing your own way. The longest relationship you ever have isn't with your spouse. It isn't with your children. It isn't with your best friends. It's a relationship you have with yourself. And every relationship is built through conversations. Every day, you are having conversations with yourself. These conversations are either strengthening that relationship or weakening it. Self-compassion isn't about lowering your standards. It's about changing the way you lead yourself. Because the voice you hear more than anyone else is your own. So make sure it's the voice that helps you become wiser, stronger, and more resilient. Not just a voice that reminds you where you fell short. Self-acceptance teaches us to embrace who we are, and self-care teaches us honor what we need. But self-compassion teaches us how to stay on our own side while we continue becoming the person we're meant to be. If you find this episode helpful, please share with someone who needs to hear it. I'm Eve, this is Love Forward. I'll see you in the next episode.